And yeah, are you ready?
Yeah, I've started recording. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So directly to so let's go to my screen so that you can yeah, disclaimer. Let's start off with the disclaimer. This is a live Fiftiglobal Zoom presentation, and it's for educational purposes only. Trading in the Forex market involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. It accredited down there. So we're already behind by 10 minutes, but it's hard to. That's because I'm actually covering only NZD/USD, the pair that we've shared on our live trading group, our WhatsApp live trading group. So I'm really let's see what I'm looking at, because remember, guys, we've said wiki, you guys really need to be careful. Yeah, it's an election week. Huh? So things could just spike. I remember, guys, in our live trading group, I shared something on was it? Let's see. It was on Bitcoin, huh? And I shared a chart where is it? This one. This chart, if you go to M15, this was on a broker, you will see that spike down till $40. Right, so this is why you're saying you could be in a position, then spikes from nowhere, baby flash crashes, and they happen mostly during nation session. Yeah? As you can see, even that one actually, but this one was more of late New York. Sorry, this one was more of late New York. But most baby flash crashes were like, it's always blamed on an algorithm. Someone pushed the button. It will be blamed on the news. It will be blamed on an earthquake in Japan. It will be, there'll always be reasons as to why guys want to take money from your pocket. And remember, when you're signing up to your broker, kuna pale ka underprint, most people don't read. Yeah? That ka fine print. You just read terms and conditions. You just click tick and you proceed. If you go to those areas, you'll realize that some of these things, the brokers are always covered. So, and in most cases, if you didn't have a stop loss, in most cases, you'll be the one to suffer most. You can't get, you can't get refunded, because there's that whole thing of the refund a certain percentage amount of money to investors, which we are investors, by the way. So this is what I was pointing out when saying you really need to be careful. This was on a Zoom session, last week's Zoom session. I remember talking about risk management, as you can see. So in this account, even if you had a 0.01 on a 1 million account, 10,000 USD account, you would still have been taken out on that trade. Actually, your 1M should have gone, because this is Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin, for it to drop that, that's quite some moolah. Anyway, so let's go to what I was saying, the discussion on NZD/USD that I want to cover. This is the trade I'm really looking at, looking for opportunities to sell NZD at 67.20 with a stop loss of 20 pips. Take profit 20 pips, 40, 60, which brings a risk reward of 1:3. So we are risking 20 pips to garner 60 pips max. Huh? And then there's that whole observe risk management. And yeah, risk management is highlighted vizuri, because really the emphasis here is on what is happening right now, the US election. So let's go to the charts and see why I'm looking at NZD/USD QRP. These are possible zones I've drawn up on, but let's go to NZD/USD first. So that's what we are looking at on NZD/USD. Have a pending order, sell limit at 720. So if you look at the daily, those who don't know, my analysis is phone trading. So bear with me. That's what I've been using for the past 4 years. So Yeah, so if you look at my left, you'll see something like a left shoulder, right? So this is what I'm talking about. If you look at this is my left shoulder, and then we are looking at this M as a possible head, right? So, and of course now we are looking at NZUSD to come and form that whole right shoulder. For those who probably don't know what I'm talking about, let me do this as we normally do. Let me go to my whiteboard so that I can have that emphasis kiasi on what I'm looking at, right? So let me share my whiteboard. So that's my whiteboard. So basically what I'm talking about, NZD-USD, on the daily, we have that thing I was drawing up. We have that left shoulder, and then we have such a structure on the daily, right? So NZD-USD was somewhere around here. So we are looking at this possibility of them to come back here and then drop. So what we are looking at is that, right? So this is where like we are looking at 0.6720. That's why we have that entry. So basically we have a left shoulder. We are looking at a possibility of forming the right shoulder, and then now we have a head, right? So this is what we call the head and shoulder pattern, which is a reversal pattern. So that's the essence of that. If you look at it, that is purely price action. Yeah, so hapa hakuna indicator itaniambia nini. I'm just looking at the possibility of them coming back to retest this to form a right shoulder based on this whole thing. That's why, let's go back to our charts. You'll see, we see what I'm talking about. Sasa vizuri, now that you guys have understood why I was looking at that trade. Yeah. So my screen. So as you can see, guys, you have drawn up, that's what I was basically looking at, right? So you can see my green lines. We have one area at 0.716, but I really want it at 0.720 because there's a whole theory behind round numbers, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. There's a whole market making theory based on algorithms that makes trades want to go to those areas. So that's why I'm looking at possibility of them to shoot up to that area. And that's why like we have that trade on that price zones. But basically the dollar, if we look at it, I remember in 2016, I was really good at analyzing trades using something called the COT, commitment of traders, right? So those are reports based on positions of smart money. So that time there was a whole lot of emphasis on the dollar. The dollar was projected to be strong because they anticipated a Hilton win. A Clinton win. So and most smart money were long on the dollar, but you all know what happened. Trump won. And I remember that time I actually blew an account because that spike I had really gone in because we were all bullish. I remember that time even my mentor, he was respecting risk management, but mimi naka grid kangu, that whole grid. This is where like I'm saying, if you've not blown accounts, I think I would not consider you a trader because really you've not really tested your mindset yet. So I was really greedy. Let me point it out what it was. I was greedy. I really wanted to snap in because the COT report had said hedge funds, smart money, they were all bullish on the dollar. So if smart money is bullish on the dollar, why don't I join them in the party? That was my, that was the whole logic behind the whole thing, me over leveraging my account. And yeah, things hit the fan and I was stopped out and margin called. Actually, it was more of a margin call, and yeah, I blew that account. So, but that's some of the lessons we learned. That's why you've seen you guys may insist on observe risk management. Risk management is in black because really so much can go wrong. So you really have to really make sure that you're observing risk management to protect your capital. So that was the outlook I was looking at on NZD-USD, and I have explained why. Now, this is Euro USD. Also, Euro USD. See, you have tested something we've been discussing, possible areas of support and resistance, right? So today in the morning, during London session, no, this was actually, it was still Asia. Huh? So they had this initial high of the day that was formed, right? So you see they've come back to retest that high again right now. So they're dropping, but I'm still, I'll still not take a position on that because I still don't have confirmations. If I look at a lower time frame, yeah, confirmation still not there, basically. So the Euro USD, but I would still, this would be my projection on Euro USD. You see this 1776, right? So this is what I'll probably be looking at, right? This is the projection I would really want Euro USD to do. Why 76? I would really want them to retest that 800 EMA, but by the time they are dropping here, the 800 EMA will have risen. Itakuwa imepanda to 1785, 1790, some price on around there. So this is where like you can come back to H4 and you can now start looking at areas where you have, let's say even possible areas where you have another block, right? So in this case, if you were to come here, this is something we'll be looking at, right? So we'll be looking at that bearish candle before the upward move. So if you come to this price zone, then we can draw these as that. Let's draw it up. Huh? That you see, that's the area that 1784. Why? Because I'm looking at this bearish candle. I hope you guys can all see this bearish candle, this one, right? That black one, right? So that's an area that I would possibly look at as an area, as a profit target area, which would also coincide with what I've said. If we look at M15, no, H1. If we look at this moving average will be rising as we move forward, right? As we continue the day. So it will rise and probably come up to this, which now will now coincide with that order block I've drawn up on H4. All right. So those are areas. Remember, we've been saying you use EMAs for profit taking. Alternatively, you can use the order blocks for profit taking. So it's a combination of both. These guys have been telling you I use a combination of ICT and BTMM, right? So that's why, like, you just project and they'll come and pin that area. So that will be the projection on Euro USD, right? So I would want them to drop to that area. That's a possible area, that or EO. Let's do that. That's a possible area based on that order block. Right. So that's the outlook I would probably be looking at on Euro USD. GBP USD, the same. I would really want them to up again to this EMA also, right? So 29.75 will be a possible zone for them to come in. If we look at these pins, again, look at that. They've retested today's high, right? If you go to H1, let's see whether they have broken. You see, they've drawn pins towards that. They're really drawing pins onto this high. That means they really don't want to rise. They don't want to rise. They want to drop. And it's in line. The same projection I'm looking at Euro USD. These guys really want to come here. Alternatively, we can go to the daily and see, once again, EMAs coming in as profit target areas. We could see them coming at around that area. We could draw in, yeah, around 59.60. That's a possible area for GBP USD. That's an area I would really look at as possible reversal areas on GU. So those are the outlooks I was really looking at, right? So let's see. USD haitaki kwenda kwa that area, but I will remember, never chase these trades. I know you have experienced these. anytime you've predefined your entry, like for example, now we have a predefined entry of 67.20, and then we see some moves that are happening where, like, let's say NZD USD drops up until 700, and then we're starting to think, hey, no, chase this trade, right? And then eventually NZD USD rises up to 67.20. So you start beating yourself up in a way you chase that trade, which was basically you are suffering from FOMO, fear of missing out. You end up chasing that trade, and we all know how that whole thing messes up psychology. So if it drops without us, well and fine. If it comes to our entry, well and fine. So our work is just to be patient and let the trade play. All right. So that's a possible outlook I'm really looking at on that pair. Right. So yeah, those are the really looking at. Based off, if we're all looking at these projections, the reason why it's dropping is because the dollar index wants to rise. But I would really, you see, the dollar index has tested today's high also. Remember what we've looked at, Euro USD and GBP USD, initial high. The dollar index has really tested that initial high, right? And it's been playing out on this area. So let's see on H1. Yeah, so if this one could close in an engulfing, but then still be patient on my NZD USD trade. So whichever way it plays out, I'm still bullish on the dollar index, because on the dollar index once again to go now up to the 800 EMA. Let me delete these lines. Some of them, they were price zones, as you can see on lower time frames, all areas. That one was on the daily. So basically, this is what I'm looking at on the dollar index, them to rise up until that area. As you guys can look at the correlation between Euro USD and dollar index. If we go to Euro USD, we're looking at it to drop once again to the 800 DMA down here, right? How about the dollar index? The dollar index, we expect it to rise, which is also in line with the projection I have on USD CHF. I'm bullish on USD CHF, right? So that's my outlook on the same. I really anticipate, because they've not come to my price, 9061. That's an area I had drawn up, because I was looking, once again, today's high, right? Sorry, today's low. Look at this. They've not yet tested low, come close, but still not touched it. So that's why I'm really not into that trade. So yeah, that's the projection I have on USD CHF too. So those are the trades I was really looking at, and the one that I really wanted to go in pretty badly was NZD USD, but we'll have to be patient on the same. Right. So let's see for the gallery. This is the before, right? This is the before. That I had at around 2, as you can see from my top right. From 2, around 3, that's when I drew that up, and I shared the same analysis. I shared the analysis earlier. That's the projection I have on the same. Yes, so not unless there's a question. Today there's no live trade that's playing out as we trade. So maybe not unless kuna swali. I don't have much to look at. So where is it? This is something I was looking at, right? So I drew it up sometime at 4. Yes. So yeah, that USD CHF, basically that's the outlook. Remember, we all look at trades differently, so it's up to the market to prove us right or wrong. But basically, that will be my projection on on those trades. Anyone with a question, guys? Akina Gracie, how was your exam?
Hi, Robert.
Mambo.
Poa sana.
How was your exam on Sato?
It was good, although it caught me by surprise.
Why?
I don't know what happened. I had so much going on. I wasn't actually prepared.
No, ma.
So ilinipata tu, but it was good. I hope
It was
nitapita.
good. Utapita, akina Jigas walipita. Jigas, umwambie exam ilikuwa on your time.
Yeah, for me, mine wasn't too bad.
Yeah, so
Nice.
Managed to just make it through.
Okay. Hoping for the best.
yeah, you will. Josh, how was the exam?
It was good for me. I was ready for it.
You were really prepared, eh?
Yeah.
Sijali hata Gracie najua nikauoga kidogo tu results zikitoka unashtuka na 80% anaanza kusema Gracie, you're trying to be easy, eh? You want to pass the bubble,
Nashanga, what happened?
Yes, look, eh?
No.
No, you are prepared. So
Kabisa.
let's just wait for them. Itakuwa poa. Otherwise, guys,
Okay.
not unless Manze, there's a question. This week I'm really not trading so much. Ara hiyo trade isipokuwa ni venye like nimeiona. I'm still engaged in community work with my NGO. So I still have a lot to do. But nikiona trade ndio like I had to sit down in the morning nika-analyze nikaona possible play the same. But otherwise, I'm looking at opportunities to for the dollar to drop later. After you've seen that analysis I've shared on the dollar index, if it gets to the 800 EMA, there's a possibility from there they'll start dropping. So I'm still waiting for that. This week it's an election. It's I don't know. So much can go wrong or right. So our work is to most probably stay away if you can. But if you're trading, reduce your lot size. That's how you protect your capital. Because I anticipate spikes. I really do anticipate spikes to happen, especially once the winner is announced between Biden. Whoever wins, Manze, whichever way goes, mimi niko sawa. Peter, how are trades by there?
Ziko hapo.
What does hapo mean?
Wazee yani ma retracements zimekuwa cheesy retracements zimekuwa zikinitoa mbio, but sasa nikipata around kitu kama 15 pips na lock profits tu. Sitaki ati nitoke hivyo.
Awesome.
Uone the pattern, uone nini? Too much stress.
Anyway,
hakuna kitu yote na happen. Institute nini out. We are out. But we are trying. Acha tungoje tuone elections ikisha. That's what we are waiting for.
Yeah, so unajua Josh anasikia kama ni music to yes. Josh is doing pretty good. Josh, you have a milk 2 pips too.
Si kila nilijua I observed the way you trade. Yani per week unaweza kataa kutake any trades. Wakati nilianza kupunguza hiyo kufuta hivyo.
Yeah.
Per week I can take up to 4. Hizo 4 zote zinaenda tu my way zote.
That's dope.
That's what
na wewe kuna time wiki hata uguzi trade.
Yeah,
awesome. Right, this goes back to what tumekoma. You really don't have to trade every day, right? Like you just show up, look at your charts, ukiona kuna trade sawa unaoka, lakini ukiona trade then probably you can go in and take a position. Otherwise, your work is not to trade every day. Your work is to trade those setups that are in line with your trading plan. Zach, hey, mambo, you're back.
Yes, I'm back bana.
How are you? Uko poa?
Niko fine. Mimi ni consolidation tu zinanisumbua. I need to know how to trade consolidation. Sasa kuna ingine ni hata nimeandika hapo. Could you kindly check on GA? Pound out USD. Pound out. It's a weird one. Unajua sisi
Poundauzi. Hiyo inasongaga kusonga. Hata hivyo watu
iko na
wanasema
consolidation
DJ.
Just check.
It's up to you to hiyo hata najua sina kwa watch yangu utaongezea, lakini hata tuiangalie, tutaongezea tu screen. Naona why you kuchase trades. Anyway, what are we looking at? Umesema GA.
Nilikuwa nimeangalia Sunday nikachora vitu zangu. Sasa naona ni kama sijui iko aje.
Tukicheki. Kai. Consolidate kianani. Too much noise bana. Penye ikitoka hii zone inaenda.
Sasa si ndio hiyo. Now where is it going after all this?
It's bearish also. It's bearish in line with GU. So 1 minute chart is anisaidia na nini sasa. So this is what I'll still anticipate the same thing out, right? The move will be this, in my humble opinion. So if I'm doing this, make a lovely support line. So I would really anticipate these guys to do this. That would be my outlook on GA. Zach. Which is also in line with what I'm looking on GU also. Tumesema GU we want them to do this, which is in line with the dollar index, which is what I'm bullish on the dollar index. So that will be the thing. Consolidation. Unaona ziko the same price on, yeah? So I would really want them to drop to that area. That's my outlook. So I don't know about you. Wewe unafikiria aje? Unajua mimi yangu we all project, but you know the market ndio inatu prove wrong. Look at what are you looking at? Bullish ama bearish?
Bearish, lakini lazima ifanye, it has to retest some level mahali. I'm looking at retest before ishuke hivyo vyote. Sasa because I'm looking at a retest at let me draw my career. The last retracement ilikuwa 83 hapo H1. Kuna kitu kako hapo 83 66 hapo 65. Ikihita hapo sasa ndo itashuka kama 83 66 83 60 something hapo.
Yeah. So mimi, if I were to teacher, I would want them to rise to yesterday's high. What is yesterday's high? You nimedraw an EMA. So probably they would want to retest
83 to 83.25. Yeah, makes sense.
That will be some that would be an area I would want them to rise and then what drop. But once
If
again,
you to look at it,
sorry, endelea.
if you were to look at it from the daily time frame, hiyo imeform sijui ka kitu kanaitwa ni kadoji. I think the yesterday was a doji. Is a doji necessarily a reversal or a continuation?
No. A doji basically inakuwaga ya kuhold.
So
basically in most cases they will hold a pair as they move another pair. So doji inakuwaga hapo by doji ni doji ama hata ni spinning top. Hii si doji hapa. Because doji ni price i-close na i-open at the same price. Hii haifanyi hivyo. Unaona?
Iko na kagap kidogo.
So this one is not a doji. But basically, if you look at that, ilikuwa tu ku hold your price. Like there's no movement, like they're up, they're down, and then they close. So basically, in my own outlook, I would really want them to end up the 83.25. Alafu they will probably from there drop to that 81.50 ama kitu kama hiyo.
Perfect. Thank you. Bado ni knowledge, asante sana.
Pole tu. Just learning also. Anyway, guys, not unless kuna swali lingine, I would really call it a wrap. Let's see whether we will not activate our trade by this session. But basically, as the outlook, I've explained why. So let's see whether that will play out. Whichever way it goes, we're good. Otherwise, guys, cheers. Let's meet again on Thursday. Otherwise, if you can, manze, don't be in so many trades, but kama trading plan yako inakupatia setup, by all means, guys, take a trade. But make sure that the only thing I would probably advise you is slow down on your lot sizes. Reduce your position sizing. Yeah, it's cool. Just let toshaka na kule to pips mtapata. Okay, guys. Cheers, guys. Jiga, unaweza say recording like kwa WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you too.